So yo, what it do, 2K fans? It's your boy JuKING the Boss, and yes, I'm finally back. It's been 2 weeks, and I've been doing a lot of soul searching. No, not really. I've been kind of just looking at what's going on in the 2K community, seeing the news that I really wanted to talk about. It's been some ups and some downs. It's been a really light week and a half, for real. When it comes down to news, outside of the My Team blog, you know, I'm not really a big My Team fan, but I really thought that they dropped some really good gems in there for the My Team community. I'm not going to dive into it as if I know something about it, but there were a couple of takeaways that I did get from reading the blog. First of all, if you didn't read the blog on Facebook, I'll leave a link down there below. That blog has a code, a locker code for NBA 2K19 to help you get your My Team started early. So if you didn't read that, check that out, because it is worth that, at least for that. Now there's one thing I did want to address about My Team. So the My Team addressed the issue that really affected NBA 2K18 as a whole, and that was general content releases. They really talked about how they didn't feel that the content that they was dropping for My Team was coming in enough waves. It wasn't coming as often. It wasn't something that the community was getting behind, and it really made me think that how did that affect the rest of NBA 2K? Because we literally had a game that had content that didn't drop for any portion of the My Career community, the Park and ProAM community, you know, which are, you know, the bigger parts of it. Now, I'm not saying that the My Team community doesn't matter. You know, at the end of the day, I want to see a product that every person, the reason why they enjoy that product is shown there in droves, is shown there with a lot of love. So, you know, when it come down to it, I'm hoping that the same effect that they're having with the My Team, they're talking about that they're going to use My Team content regulation, so they're going to upload a lot of content for My Team more often. It seems like they have a schedule set in stone, and I want to see that same kind of thing happen across the 2K landscape, especially because My Team is one of those things where if someone has a great game or have a great week, you want to see pink diamond show up that increases those stats where they perform extremely well at. If someone plays a killer game, you want to see a My Team card show up that represents that. But at the same time, I would also like to see something similar in NBA 2K. If you really want to make it feel like a person's playing in a career that starts up with this current season of NBA 2K, then you want them to also kind of see those adjustments get made for the players that play in the league at that point in time. So if LeBron had an outstanding game, then at least do a more dynamic update of that overall card, because I wouldn't mind going up against a 99 LeBron. Some of y'all might not like it, but that gets me to the next thing that I'm about to talk about. See, Mike Wong on Twitter was responding to people's questions left and right, and still haven't responded to mine. That's okay. That's cool. I only had one, and that was all about the ProAM and whether or not the timeout cheese would no longer be there. Now, Ray Pace asked Mike Wong if all the info that he was providing, because he was talking a lot about the archetypes and their takeover badges and how they work. So he asked if all the information that he was providing about the player archetypes was that information just for the My Player, My Park players, you know, Pro-Am, things like that, or was it for the NBA players as well? And Mike said that it was for the My players and the NBA players because they use the same system. Now, from that, there was a little bit more chatter in that chat talking about does this mean that 90 overall will be a 90 overall compared to the NBA system standards, or does it mean that we're still going to get that 90 overall in My Career is really a 79, 78 overall in NBA, but you're just talking about the takeover system? Now, my personal opinion is hopefully this is exactly what he's talking about. He's talking about that for the same system, it means that NBA players and my players will have the same rating-based system that they go off of. And if that's the case, that could explain away the big issue that everybody's having about the overalls that are being chosen for the players. Like, everybody talked about how Blake Griffin having an 86 overall and Jason Tatum having an 87 overall doesn't make sense. And then when you look at the stats, they talk about how defense is something that's really going to matter. It's going to matter a lot more than it ever has. And if you look at it, Jason Tatum has there was a side-by-side comparison. One of those things was the steals, and it was saying that Jason Tatum was averaging 1 steal a game and Blake was averaging 0.7. And then for his blocks, Jason Tatum was averaging 0.7 and Blake Griffin was averaging 0.3. But there was a big difference when it came down to Blake Griffin averaging more points per game and things like that. So when you look at that and you say, okay, well, hopefully that means that my players and NBA players are going to be on the same kind of rating system, attribute system. Because that's gonna be a big game changer. It's gonna be a big game changer, and we can talk all that in the comments below. You need to be following Mike Wong on Twitter, mainly because he's dropping a lot of gems. Zach Timmerman is also another person you should follow on Twitter, because he mentioned something that was really unique recently. He said, guess before or correctly react after moves with the left stick to increase your chance of success as a post defender. Now, this is something that I talked about in 2K18 and how the only real issue was because of the latency with 2K18 is that guessing correctly could have a delayed reaction to how you deal with something, how you react to something. So he followed up that tweet with another one that said, worded correctly, he said, correctly guess before or during moves to increase your chances of success. And he talked about when it came down to defending moves. So essentially, you look at it like Live, how Live had it where it'll tell you which way a person is going. But if you're playing online, you need to be able to kind of correctly guess which way they were going based on the moves they were doing. And in NBA 2K18, you could do that, but if a person blew by you, there was really just no chance at you recovering, and that was the biggest issue. So when it comes down to it, he's basically saying that if you correctly guess the move that your opponent with the ball in his hand is about to do, you can defend it. Now, there's something I would like to see come back, and that is I just went back and played NBA 2K14, and there was something that they did in there that I truly missed, and that was real off-ball cuts. That really needs to come back. I'm sorry, but the way the cuts are set up in this game right now are weird because they aren't realistic. Like, I like the fact that you was able to do like a jab step, slash to the basket, and everything like that. You could throw your man off by doing little moves like that. And some people might say, oh, that's a cheese move. That's a realistic move. You know, a pivot step and then slash inward, going to the basket. Basketball, football, similar moves are done. You know, you hit a person with a quick hop step, jab step, bow, and cut. So if I start off on the right side and I jab step as I'm going out to the 3, I'm gonna fade, and then I cut to the basket, dropping my man off and leaving him out there. Bam, I'm gonna get the easy free lane to the basket, best chance to score, and it decreases the chances that I have to do an extra move to get a basket going. So, you know, you want to see real basketball moves come back, and so I would love to see that off-ball motion come back into the game, especially because they did that in 2K14. They toned it down in 2K15, eliminated it, I think by 2K17 it was gone completely. So there was another couple of things that I do want to talk about. So now we're about to get into the nitty gritty of what's going on with 2K19. So I noticed that the entire community, they're being a lot more, you know, passive about how hyped up they are about 2K19, and it's understandable. But here's the thing, I want you to understand something. 2K14 on the next gen, so Xbox One and PS4, this was when they first introduced my career play online kind of aspect. I mean, before then they did have, you know, crew team up and just basic online games, but for the first time you was able to take your my career player, play online, and and they added a rep system, and that little thing right there was, we knew that from that moment on it was gonna be awesome. But what ended up happening is when they built onto it, they added more parks, they added affiliations, and these things were awesome. Now you look at 2K18 and you say, oh, they removed affiliations, they removed all that, but I don't think it's gone for good. See, because they introduced this one park setup, we could get to the point of now they're about to introduce multiple parks. So when you get onto the elevator, when you get onto the train and you choose which park you want to go to, you might get multiple parks, you might get different theme parks, and that's what I'm optimistic for. We should hear some news about my career this week. They did say 2 videos was dropping this week. one Tuesday, one Thursday. Today's Monday, so we're gonna see what's the first video we get next week. Maybe we'll get a video on my career, and then we'll get a video on the Prelude. So maybe that's what it is. I'm guessing for real, we're gonna get a gameplay heavy video that's gonna be kind of to coincide with the gameplay changes and mechanics that are being introduced in 2K19, and then we'll get another one that's gonna cover maybe my career or the Prelude itself. So we're gonna see how that's gonna go. Now I want to talk to y'all real quick about shot timing versus openness. There's been a great debate that's been going on whether shot timing or openness should affect your shot. And I'm always going to be the one to say shot timing should be one of the biggest key factors that affect your shot. And the reason being is because if you don't have the skill to time your shot, then why should you be given the green light to make that shot? Now, I'm not saying that if you let it go just a little bit off, so you get a full white, then that means it's like, oh no, that wasn't an excellent release, you should be missing. No, shot timing and openness should both have a say in your shots. If you're open, you should have maybe a bigger green window if your player can shoot from that kind of distance, can shoot from that kind of range. If you're contested, it's not to say that you shouldn't be able to shoot, but maybe you should have to release your shot a little earlier. And you can go back and look at Steph Curry through the season. I know he's not the best person to sit up here because he's a freak of nature when it comes down to shooting, but it's probably the best example that I can give. If a person closes out on you and you release your shot a little bit earlier, that should give you a green window. Steph Curry can spot up shoot, and he can kind of shoot right off the catch and shoot situation, and you'll see two different speeds release off his shot. So they said we're going to see contested jumpers come back, and hopefully we'll be able to choose which jumper we have as contested jumper. There were people asking Mike Wang about that, but he hasn't really responded completely. He did say that contested jumpers, it would switch to a contested jumper when you go to shoot and someone closes out on you. So we'll hopefully see that in fruition. Now, the biggest thing I do kind of want to see come back, I know I've been rambling, but the biggest thing I kind of do want to see come back is Park 5v5. The main reason being is a lot of people saying they want to see the Jordan Rec Center come back, and I wasn't against the Jordan Rec Center, but the Jordan Rec Center was replaced by the ProAM, and so I highly doubt that they bring that back, and I wouldn't expect them to bring that back, mainly because if you bring back the Jordan Rec Center, the Pro-Am is going to be affected. The problem with the Pro-Am being affected is that the Pro-Am is their go-to space for the NBA 2K League, and they're not giving up on that no time soon. So I don't expect to see Jordan Rec Center coming back, and if they do bring that back, it's not going to be in the same aspect that we once saw it in. So we will see them do a little bit more when it come down to the Pro-Am itself, but the Jordan Rec Center might essentially be Pro-Am walk-on. That's exactly what it might be. But as far as like that, why would you want that to come back when Pro-Am walk-on is literally more matchmaking than the Jordan Rec Center ever was? So why would you want that back? You know I just dived into a whole lot, but it's a whole lot we got to look forward to from 2K19, and I'm ready to get it in. Let's do this. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on post notifications so you always catch each video the moment it comes out, and also check out one of the 2 videos you see on screen. This your boy JuKIng the Boss, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.